bottle of white, a bottle of red, perhaps a bottle of rosé instead. They say in vino veritas, to that I say let's raise a glass. Welcome back to Got Knowledge, where you'll not only brush up on your blind tasting skills, but also enhance the enjoyment of your next glass of wine. My name is DeniZe, your virtual partner in wine. Tonight's session in How to Taste, a Guide to Enjoying Wine by Jancis Robinson is 3 Pointers to Quality. Dirty talky, dirty talk. Talk about things I hate to do. I'd rather have a wine that smells and tastes divine, so I've got no dirty talk to do. Pointer number 1 to quality: cleanliness. But first, I want you to imagine you've been invited to someone's home for dinner. You've never been there before. You arrive. The house is neat, clean, and inviting. You ring the doorbell, and you are already looking forward to an enjoyable evening. But then the door opens, and what is that smell? Is it animal, vegetable, or mineral? Whatever it is, it has changed your mood from anticipation to alienation. And that is what can happen when your senses come nose to nose with an unclean wine. Take corkiness, for instance. A corked wine comes from tainted corks, not from poor winemaking. The technical term is trichloroanisole, or TCA. The smell of TCA is pretty unmistakable. Say if you smell a dank, musty, moldy basement lurking in your glass of wine, it's a pretty good bet your wine is corked. But before you start sniffing for faults every time you hang your nose over a glass, the good news is, thanks to technology, the chances of a fault wreaking havoc on your senses is less than 1%. Another fault is oxidation that generally makes light wines smell and taste stale. This happens when wine is exposed to oxygen. You can see for yourself by conducting your own little experiment. Simply pour a glass of non-fortified light wine and leave it out for a couple of days. Make sure, though, you leave the glass somewhere where you'll be sure to pass by regularly. And each time you pass by, take time to sniff and note the changes. You'll soon smell the difference between what's fresh and fruity and what's oxidized. Acidic or pricked wine is another fault. It's when a wine has gone from being oxidized to becoming vinegar. For me, it reminds me of the dyes I used to use for coloring my Easter eggs. A dull, vinegary smell. There are other faults, but remember the chances of you running into one is less than 1%. The other faults are sulfur dioxide, reduction, betanomyces, volatile acidity, scorbic acid, carbon dioxide, and cardboard. But if you thirst for more detail, do refer to pages 36 to 40 in Robinson's guide. The second pointer to quality is balance. A balanced wine should be like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It shouldn't have too much or too little sweetness, acidity, tannin, or alcohol. It should be just right. And although a wine destined for a great future may taste unbalanced in its youth due to tannin or acidity, all good wines should be balanced by the time they are ready to drink. The third and final pointer to quality is length. This is when the pleasure of the wine's flavor lingers in your mouth and nose after having swallowed. This is your ROI, especially with expensive wines. Instead of the flavor disappearing after swallowing, like in a lesser wine, a mouthful of great wine will have you savoring the flavors minutes, if not hours, after having drained your glass. When it comes to the length of a wine, it gives new meaning to an old advertising slogan. It's not how long you make it, it's how you make it long. That concludes tonight's session in How to Taste. Tune in next week for Visual Clues. Thank you for joining me, and remember, got knowledge, pass it on. A bottle of red, a bottle of white, it all depends upon your appetite. I'm here next week, so do drop by. Arrivederci, ciao, goodbye.